girls, welcome to the final recap of the amazing race. We're going to find out who wins this pig. Alright, so the final three is Imani and Marcus, Jeremy and Sandy, and Ernie and Cindy. They were in Panama. They're hopping on a plane going to hot Atlanta. In case you didn't know, it's Atlanta. At the airport is Flight Safety International, and it's kind of weird that the taxi drivers didn't know where it was, but I guess they don't take too many people there because they're already at the airport. So they got into these multi-million-dollar flight simulators. They had a little instruction, and then they had to land it from 2,500 feet up. Get your pilot on. Alright, so Imani and Marcus went off the runway the first time, and probably about the next 7 or 8 times. It was tough for him. Jeremy and Sandy, they friggin' aced it. They got it on the first try, and Ernie and Cindy, they got it on the second try. So after they finished with the flight simulator, they had to find the dump. It's the former residence of the author Margaret Mitchell of Gone with the Wind. And by the way, that is a fabulous movie. We just watched it again a few weeks ago, and I was glued to it. 1939 was a fabulous year for movies, and that was one of the big ones. Alright, so Jeremy and Sandy unfortunately got some bad info during this leg of the race. They heard that the dump was a former Home Depot, and when they got there, it was a furniture store. Not where they were supposed to be going, especially since they said it was a former residence. Yeah, they wasted a lot of time there looking around for the clue box, which never materialized because they were in the wrong spot. But Ernie and Cindy got it right away, thanks to a smartphone. If I hear smartphone one more time, they must have said it at least 10 times in this episode. So the next clue was who gives a damn? They had to go to the dump and type out the next clue, but there was no number 1 on the typewriter because it was like 1,000 years old. And they had to figure out that you had to use a lowercase l in place of a 1. Ernie actually got it relatively quickly. I mean, he was struggling a little bit with the typing, but he kind of figured out the L situation pretty quickly. So the key part of the clue was 44-715-74. They had to figure out that that had to do with Hank Aaron, and they had to get their asses to Turner Field, where there was a huge map. Well, there was 3 of them, one for each of the teams. They had to map out the race on these giant maps while hanging from a rope. They had to put the ropes through the little carabiner clips. And Cindy absolutely busted right through it. So good for her. She's got some map skills. I, on the other hand, do not. I did not do well in geography or in history. Alright, so they find out that the pit stop for this leg of the race and the entire race is at Swan House. So the way that they edited the show, they made it seem like it was going to be pretty close between Ernie and Cindy and Jeremy and Sandy. I really don't think it was that close, though. They tried to play up the fact that the GPS was not doing Ernie and Cindy any favors, along with their 80-year-old taxi driver. Well, he looked like he was 80, but I'm sure he wasn't. He kind of looked like Raj from What's Happening, or Everybody Hates Chris, the landlord. Alright, Ernie and Cindy won this pig. Gotta stick a fork in it now, because it is done. And some good news, they're going to create an organization with the money to help people. And help people contribute to the global economy. What does that mean? I don't even know. It sounded good, though. Jeremy and Sandy, they're in 2nd place, which means they're first loser. And Imani and Marcus, I don't know. They kind of had an advantage over everyone because they're from Atlanta. I think the only way that they could have handed this to them was to make it a football challenge. But the funny thing about them is, at the end of the race, she made a point of saying, "I've never seen him lose his temper before like that. He's a football player. He smashes people for a living. And you're saying he never lost his temper? Come on." I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. Alright kids, thanks for watching this season, and until next time, much love.